All right, today we are diving into something really fascinating. It's a bit of political engineering, actually. We're looking at how Kenya figured out a way to get one national government and 47 separate county governments to all somehow pull in the same direction. So let's get right into it.
Okay, so picture this. Back in 2010, Kenya completely overhauled its government. They created this whole new layer of 47 county governments. I mean, it was a huge shift, what's called devolution. But, that immediately brings up a massive question, right? You've suddenly got 48 different centers of power. How on earth do you stop that from becoming total chaos? How do you make sure they're all working together for the people?
Well, the answer was you have to build a formal system. You have to design it from the ground up. I mean, think about it. The whole concept of devolution, it lives or dies on communication. You just can't have the national government going one way and 47 counties going another. It's a recipe for disaster. So, the key thing to get here is that this structured system, it wasn't just a nice to have, it was absolutely essential. Without it, the whole new constitution just wouldn't work.
All right, so to build that system, you need a rule book, right? You need an instruction manual. And that's exactly what the Intergovernmental Relations Act of 2012 is. You can literally think of it as the operating manual for how all these different governments are supposed to play nice and work with each other.
And what's so cool about this act is that it's not just a bunch of dry, bureaucratic rules. It starts with a set of core principles, kind of like the philosophy behind the whole thing. It's all about respecting the people, making sure governance is inclusive, respecting each level of government, and, crucially, trying to minimize fights before they even start. The entire system is built on this foundation of mutual respect and accountability. That really sets the tone for everything else.
So that's the philosophy, but how does it translate into action? Well, if those principles are the why, then these objectives right here are the what. This is what the Act is actually designed to do: create places for people to talk, coordinate policies so everyone's on the same page, figure out how to hand over power smoothly, and make sure everyone is accountable. It's really about turning the idea of cooperation into a real day-to-day thing.
Okay, so we've got the rules of engagement. Now, who actually gets in a room and talks? Well, the system sets up a few key groups, and we're going to start at the very, very top. Let's call it the main boardroom of national leadership.
And this is it, the big one, the National and County Government Coordinating Summit. I mean, the name pretty much says it all, right? This is the highest level group there is, and its whole purpose is to make sure the national government and all the county governments are actually talking to each other and working together.
And this chart, this gives you a perfect snapshot of the whole structure. See, at the very top, you've got the coordinating summit. Then, right underneath it, you have this technical committee. Think of it as the engine room that makes everything happen. We'll talk more about them in a second. And then you see these other groups branching off. This is basically the blueprint for how everything is supposed to flow. So who's actually in this boardroom? Well, it's the top brass. You've got the President of the Republic sitting as the chairperson. You've got all 47 county governors. And then you have the head of the governor's own council acting as the vice chair. So you can see, this is designed so that every single county, plus the very top of the national government, has a seat at the table. No one's left out.
And what's on the agenda? Well, pretty much everything. Their job is massive. They're there to push for cooperation, talk about the big national issues, keep an eye on how major development plans are going, and even check up on how well everyone's performing. It really is the central steering committee for the whole country.
But of course, a big meeting at the top can't do all the work by itself. It needs a support system. So let's look at the other key players that make this whole thing tick, what I call the engine room that does the day-to-day heavy lifting, and also something like a players' union for the counties.
First, you've got the Intergovernmental Relations Technical Committee. The best way to think about these guys is as the administrative backbone for the summit. They do all the prep work, they take the decisions made in the big meetings and actually make them happen, and they keep track of everything with reports. Honestly, without them, the summit would just be a talking shop with no follow-through.
Okay, then there's the Council of County Governors. Now this is a totally different beast. The summit, remember, is for the national and county governments to work together. The council, on the other hand, is a group for the 47 county governments. It's their own club, a place for them to get organized, share what's working, and speak with one voice when they need to.
And you can see that in what they do. One of their biggest jobs is sorting out disagreements between counties. It's also where they share tips and tricks, best practices. They organize training, and they talk about stuff that affects all of them, like new national laws or how money gets divided up. It is, for all intents and purposes, the county's team huddle.
Okay, but let's be real. Even with the best system in the world, you're going to have 48 different governments that are going to disagree. It's just human nature. So what happens then? Well, the Act was smart about this. It built in a super clear process for resolving disputes. Basically, a way to call in a referee before things get out of hand.
And the whole process is designed to calm things down, not ramp them up. Look at step 1. Just talk. The law literally says you have to try and negotiate first. If that doesn't work, okay, then you can formally kick it upstairs. A meeting gets called to try and mediate a solution. The really big takeaway here is that going to court is the absolute final last resort. You have to try everything else first.
And this quote, right from the Act itself, just nails the whole philosophy. The entire system is hardwired to choose talking over fighting. The message couldn't be clearer. Work it out among yourselves. Don't just immediately sue each other. It's all about cooperation over confrontation, period.
So, there you have it. It's this incredibly comprehensive, multi-layered system, all designed with one goal in mind, making 48 governments act like one team. You've got the guiding philosophy, the big shot summits, the support committees doing the groundwork, and even a clear playbook for when things go wrong. The blueprint, the plan on paper, it's all there. It's incredibly clear. Which, of course, leaves us with the million-dollar question. How well does this beautifully designed machine actually work in the real world?